So the Foraging update is quite honestly popping off. I'm pretty sure everyone's having a great time. Now I personally have been working on my setup. I've upgraded my armor pretty much as I can. Same goes for my axe, and I'm working on getting it maxed out. Now up to now I've been pretty happy just using my Ocelot pet, because the monkey honestly is a little bit mid, and wisdom is great to have. However, if we're all being honest, this clearly isn't the best foraging pet. But this, on the other hand, most definitely is. Today we are going to be testing out this Jade Dragon pet and seeing how good it really is. Now just to clarify, this isn't my pet. I've been able to borrow it thankfully off Oni, so thank you very much. I'm hoping to get my own in the next couple of days. I also want to say that this Jade Drag is not level 200 and I don't have maximum stats, so you could use this and it could be way better. Anyway, first of all, let's take a look at the stats of the Jade Dragon pet. Now first of all, Jade Dragon is a pet similar to the Golden Dragon, in a sense where it goes to level 200. At base it's giving us strength, magic, find and foraging fortune. Forest power adds at the moment, obviously not at max, but 76.5 strength and 38.25 speed at 12 year axes. Jade scale grants 15 foraging fortune and 4 sweep for every digit in your mangrove collection, max 10 mil. Dragon's Pride grants 1 foraging fortune per 5 sweep. Apex Predator increase your total sweep by 0.1% for every maxed out attribute you've unlocked. Yeah, it's kind of juiced. But what does any of this even mean? Well, for instance, for Jade scale we're getting fortune and sweep for every digit in our mangrove collection. Now my mangrove collection is only 344k, which obviously is not ideal. 1 million would be an extra digit and 10 million would be 2 extra digits, so you can kind of see how that would add up if you had 10 million collection. However, 10 million collection is quite a decent amount. Also, the likelihood is you're going to have probably much higher Fig collection than Mangrove collection, just because Fig makes it way quicker to progress in terms of getting Whispers and so on. Also, the more sweep we have, the more foraging fortune we're going to gain from the Dragon's Pride perk. And also, the more maxed out attributes we have, the more percentage of sweep is going to be buffed, which is crazy. What this means is max out as many cheaper attributes as you possibly can, and then, well, I guess you've got some design to do on the more expensive ones. So for an ideal situation, you'd have this pet at level 200, of course, you'd have all attributes maxed out, you'd have as high sweep as you possibly can, and you'd have at least 10 mil mangrove collection. Oh, and of course, you'd probably have a minus relic on there too. Now, all of this is well and good, but how do you actually obtain this pet? Well, you could just simply buy it off the AH, considering there is a ton of them listed for just over 1.1 billion coins. But of course, the people who have got them listed on the AH have either bought the items to actually go ahead and purchase it, or they've basically got all the items themselves. So let's see how you actually obtain it yourself. Well, just before we do, at the moment we're actually trying to beat the population of Andorra with subscribers. The population of Andorra is around about 80,000 people. And once we reach 80,000 subscribers, we'll actually be visiting Andorra and we'll be able to claim that we have more subscribers than the population of the whole country, which would be pretty cool. So make sure to subscribe to make that happen. Also, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS, it gets yourself 5% off. You should join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of this video. We offer slayers and dungeon carries, so if you need carries or want to carry and make some coins, make sure to join. Well, obtaining the Jade Drag evolves around Agatha's contests. In Agatha's shop, once you've reached Agatha's milestone 5, which I haven't, you'll be able to purchase an item called the Shiniest. Now this Shiniest requires you to basically trade 20 Stalin prizes. Now Stalin prizes are a 10% drop chance if you get epic in the contest and a 20% if you get legendary. Also, for you to go ahead and actually get Agatha milestone 5, that requires you to do 100 contests getting legendary. Now each contest is 20 minutes. Which is the equivalent of 33 straight hours of foraging. In addition to that, you'll also need 100 fig stones, which you basically just get through condensing fig wood. That alone is 142 mil. And also 100 mancores, which you basically just get through condensing mangrove wood, which is 406 mil. Oh yeah, the current price of the Shiniest is around about 40 million coins. Now once you have all of those items, you're going to need to go for a bit of a dive in the water. I recommend that you have Diver's Armor with Respiration 4 and also Depth Strider on your boots. Upgrading your pressure resistance stat as well also wouldn't really hurt. So let's go down to that dragon. Now from Agatha's diving board you want to follow this route. So you want to go down here as fast as you possibly can, by the way, because sometimes it can get a bit tight as to if you survive or not. You want to hug the right wall. You want to basically go down and down this spiral as fast as you possibly can. Go, 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 go. This is why it's kind of important that you've got some sort of pressure resistance, and there you go. You've made it to the dragon's den. There's a dragon, and you can hear the sounds that are also being made in the dragon's den in the Crystal Hollows. There's 3 eggs per lobby, so you can go here, click on one of the eggs, go through a bit of back and forth, and then you can buy a Jade Dragon. So this requires, as I said, 100 Figstone, 100 Mancore, a shiniest, and 500 million coins, which at the moment has a craft cost of 1,088 million coins, which is very, very similar to the cheapest price you can buy it off the AH4. Now, like I said before, I've just really been using this level 100 legendary Ocelot pet. The only real good stat it's giving us is 30 Foraging Wisdom. And this is the current situation on my Heart of the Forest tree. I'm almost tier 5, and this is what I've got in all of the upgrades that are really relevant, just so you have somewhat of an idea. This is my equipment. It all has the boosters on it. My David's Cloak is good, but it isn't maxed. And with the Ocelot pet equipped, I'm getting 280 sweep, I'm getting 774 for Foraging Fortune, and 109 Foraging Wisdom. Now, as I've explained my situation, this is not the best case scenario to be using a Jade Drag, but this is just to give you an idea of how this compares. Now, with the same setup, the only thing we've changed is the pet. Our stats are as followed: 312 sweep, which is substantially more than before, 953 fortune, which is way more than before. And sure, we have less wisdom. We've lost the 30 wisdom from the Ocelot, but that's to be expected. So you can kind of begin to see just how much, just what this Jade Dragon does, even at such a low level with relatively bad stats. Of course, Foraging Fortune is essential for making money, and you can make a ton of money foraging at the moment. And Sweep is probably the only other most important stat as well. Now, like I said, I borrowed this pet from Oni, and this is a bit of his gameplay. He'll briefly just run through, I guess, what stats he has, and then just how quickly you can then just go ahead and mine through these mangrove trees. Actually, kind of impressive. And yeah, this pet is insane. Is it worth the current 1.1 billion coin price tag? Well, I believe you can probably make your money's worth back from it at the moment, just because Foraging makes a ton of money still. This is expensive, however, this is just going to elevate your foraging experience to the next level. This is amazing, and I can't wait to get my hands on my own one. Also, I am broke, so I think I'm literally going to have to spend my G-Drag bank, which I'm fine with doing because I'm not really doing anything combat related at the moment anyway. I do really need to get my own. Having this here kind of makes me really jealous. But it's actually kind of crazy. I can genuinely notice the difference just from having an extra, what is it, like 40, 50 sweep. And of course this would only get better. Like, I can notice a pretty substantial difference, which is really nice to see when you actually see noticeable differences when you have a pet and it's not just stats in the background that don't really mean a massive amount. It's just nice. Now, of course, you have got other options in terms of pets. For instance, like a level 100 legendary frog. This grants 80 foraging fortune for 20 seconds every time you jump. Grants 10 foraging fortune for every other frog pet on the island, up to 10 frogs. Don't get me wrong, this can be a really good pet, especially if you've got other people using it. But it's not as good as the Jade Dragon. Not really anywhere near as good as the Jade Dragon. Also, I feel like it's almost it's built more towards hunting. Obviously, it has foraging stats, but at the same time, you know what I mean? Now, I would say that the Jade Dragon is probably justifiable for the price just because of how good it is. But at the end of the day, you can make your own decision. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.